So, why is breathing so important? Why is it so important when you're looking to heal your diastasis, when you're looking to fix any pelvic floor issues that you may have? So, let's have a look at that. So, obviously, apart from the fact you need to breathe to live, um, breathing is the foundation of our system. So it's the foundation of that core support system that we have. The diaphragm and the pelvic floor move together to create that intra-abdominal pressure that protects our spine and supports our pelvis. It also promotes the healing and tissue repair by increasing the oxygen, which, we need to help our connective tissue repair. And for that to repair, or like any muscles or connective tissue or ligaments or anything else in our body, we need oxygen to be able to be circulating. So, what happens when you have the correct diaphragm expansion? So the diaphragm expansion is when you're doing that inhale and that diaphragm is coming down. That's what we're calling diaphragm expansion. So when you have it correct, it will actually relax your hip flexors and activate your core. So it relaxes your hip flexors because your hip flexors, or one of them, the psoas, actually joins into your spine just around by your diaphragm. So when your diaphragm goes down and has that expansion happening, it actually relaxes the psoas, so that hip flexor muscle, so that it's not under tension all the time. And that allows it to relax, which helps you with your pelvis positioning. That dropping of your diaphragm also activates your core. Remember, we talked about that pressure system where your abs, that canister, expands out. It also decreases neck pain, lower back pain, SI joint pain. It's all interconnected. Now, especially if you're a shallow breather, and that means that your diaphragm doesn't necessarily expand and go down, but you're breathing with your secondary muscles and you're actually lifting up everything. So your shoulders are coming and down, up and down. And that's what causes a lot of tension in our necks. And it also naturally, that expansion naturally helps you strengthen your pelvic floor. So as you're breathing correctly with that pressure system, your pelvic floor will drop down or expand, and then it will automatically recoil as well. We're often told Kegels, 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 but that's only half of the battle. A lot of people are too tight in their pelvic floor, and the Kegels will actually make you worse rather than better. So what you need to learn to do rather than Kegels, Kegels, Kegels is to do a Kegel with your breath. So let everything relax on that inhale and then contract and do that Kegel type motion on the exhale. So let's take a little bit more of a look at this. So we've gone through this a little bit in our first video, but during pregnancy, and I so love this photo, it really shows what happens. During pregnancy, our diaphragm gets pushed up. So this is what your diaphragm looks like post pregnancy here. And then, as you can see, when you're pregnant, it gets pushed up and opened a little bit. So it flattens out. And you can also see how our ribs get pushed out. So, I'm always talking about flared ribs. Now, this can be flared as in it's wide, or flared as in this sort of position where they're poking out more. Both are considered flared ribs, and both stop your diaphragm from being supported in the correct position. And you can also see that our back tightens, which is to offset that weight in the front. You've got this weight in the front, so in order to stop you from toppling over forward, our back tightens up. And you can see we're starting to get more of a curve in the back here, to compensate for this weight in the front. So what should be the first goals that you have postpartum? And remember, postpartum isn't necessarily just straight after giving birth. any lady who's had a baby is considered postpartum. It doesn't matter whether it was 10 years ago or 6 weeks ago, you're still postpartum. And if you haven't fixed that core foundation, you still need to go through these steps and these goals. So these are the three main goals that you should be having. And this is what we're going to work on, especially in this first week with this breathing information. So we should be working to get our ribs back to 90 degrees. So not only that hold flare position, but we want our ribs to come down to a nice 90-degree angle. And this is going to support your diaphragm and keep it in the right position so that it can go down in that expansion correctly. We want to regain abdominal control so that we can provide the tension for our diaphragm. So again, thinking about that canister as your diaphragm is expanding and going down, your abdominal walls are going to expand, causing that pressure system. Now, if you have no abdominal control, that pressure system isn't going to work. So we need to regain our abdominal control so that we can help our diaphragm. And we want to optimize the diaphragm into a deep breathing pattern. And when I say a deep breathing pattern, I don't mean a belly breathing pattern. And we're going to get into that tomorrow in the next video. So those are the goals, and that's what we're going to be working on this week. If you have any questions, please post the questions below and I will come back and answer them. Okay.